Hey guys, what's up? It's SeattleBeats here, your host of the weekly 7 movie night series, where I watch 7 movies in a week's time and recommend to you the best movie that you could watch for your movie night. Let's get into this week's picks. Coming in last place is a movie that I actually really badly wanted to be good, but it just wasn't. Scary Movie 5. When I watched Scary Movie 1, 2, 3, and even 4 in the past, I always enjoyed myself and thought that they were freaking hilarious. But when watching Scary Movie 5, I was cringing way more than I was laughing. Scary Movie 5 is one of the most cringeworthy comedies that I've ever seen. They should have just stopped with 4, but they forced it to make a 5th one, and that was a horrible decision. There is in no way that I would ever recommend that you ever watch this movie. It's freaking awful. So, it's a 3 out of 10 for me, and that's me being nice. Now, coming in 6th place, we have Garden State. And before all you cult classic fans out there start freaking out at me for giving Garden State 6th place, I just want you guys to remember that this week, the 7 movies I watched, I only hated one, and that was Scary Movie 5. The rest of the 6 were all very enjoyable, just some I enjoyed more than others. Now this movie, I rate my movies overall. So when I watched this film, I really enjoyed the ending of it. The last half was freaking amazing. But that first 30 to 40 minute build-up was honestly sort of boring to me. So when I don't enjoy a movie completely overall, I'm not going to give it a really high rating. But the last half of it's so good I can understand why it's a cult classic. I would recommend at least watching this sometime in your lifetime, but it's not going to be a movie night recommendation. It's just a good movie you should watch sometime. In 5th place, we have another cult classic featuring Jim Carrey. It's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Now this movie was very enjoyable, and it's definitely in a genre that I really enjoy. And I've watched a lot of great movies, and there's definitely some things in this movie that are a little slow compared to others I've watched. But this movie is so creative, so enjoyable, and honestly, it showcases that Jim Carrey is good at drama, not just comedy. So 7.9 out of 10 makes this movie not a recommendation for best movie of the week, but a movie that I think everyone should see. It's an interesting view into romance that a lot of people might not think about. It's definitely not the perfect romance. The girl character kind of bugs the crap out of me with the personality, but you gotta admit, it's a good movie and it showcases the extent of Jim Carrey's acting skills, which is a good mix of both. In 4th place, right outside a podium finish, we have Wreck-It Ralph. My friend Jeanette recommended it to me and told me that it was literally one of the best animated movies of the last few years. So I couldn't pass it up, I had to watch it. I'm not really into animated films, I actually haven't watched one for 4 or 5 years. But if I'm gonna be a movie critic, or at least try to be like one, because I'm just a guy sitting in my house watching movies, I need to at least symbolize what one's like, and they need to watch films without bias. So even though it wasn't for me, I watched it, and I actually enjoyed it. That's saying a lot. Me giving Wreck-It Ralph an 8 out of 10 would probably make it almost a 9.5 out of 10 for people that like animated movies. It has tons of nostalgia. They got rights for so many different characters, and I actually cared about characters in an animated genre, and that hasn't happened for a long time. So with that being said, Wreck-It Ralph is an animated movie that everybody should watch if they're a fan of the genre. If not, I still think you might like it. With the bronze medal in 3rd place, we have The Babadook. Now this is a low-budget, independent horror film. Independent horror films necessarily aren't for everybody. Independent movies in general aren't for everybody. But with this movie, what I like about it is the creativity in the genre. In the horror genre, I really don't see much things that are different. It's a lot of the same, but I still like a lot of the movies because I just think they're interesting. But a lot of horror movies don't focus more on the psychological take, like somebody literally going insane and seeing things that aren't there. Most of the time, it's things that are actually in reality there, freaking people out. And this movie, you might not really understand the plot because it's about people going insane, but if you watch it understanding that it's focusing purely on the psychological elements, you'll understand why I see this movie in such a positive light. It's so different, so creative, and strange, but in a good way. It has a mixed reaction, but I think you guys would like it. With the silver medal in 2nd place, we have Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And as of lately, even though this movie came out a while ago, it almost felt like it was made for me because I've been kind of laughing about how ridiculous, how over the top, overly dramatic people are being. It's just funny how unnecessarily people bring drama in things. They push it into everything. It doesn't need to be there. And it happens just as much from guys as it is from girls. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think guys are actually worse about it, just to be honest. There's a lot of bad guys out there. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a guy. I know a lot of them, trust me. And just having that drama amplified by like 100 to 1,000 times, totally making light of it and making fun of it, it's just the funniest thing ever, because you gotta admit, the human race is pretty ridiculous when it comes to relationships, and sometimes it's fun to just laugh at ourselves, you know? With the gold medal in first place, and my movie night pick of the week, we have the movie Boulevard. Now, what drove me to selecting this movie, because a lot of you guys probably haven't heard of it, is I've really missed Robin Williams. I know he died a few years ago. It was really sad, and I found out the news that he'd killed himself. But since I was kind of having a nostalgic moment missing him, I wanted to look through his filmography and maybe watch some movies I hadn't seen yet. Boulevard popped up. It was a movie that came out a few months after his death, and basically I was hoping it was going to be great. I was hoping that the last movie he went out with was going to be phenomenal, and I'm going to tell you, it was a phenomenal movie. It's a good dramatic movie. He's just as good of a dramatic actor as he is a comedy actor, and it's a movie everyone should watch. But what I will warn you, don't watch it with any kids. It would be awkward. You'll find out later, but it's a great love story. It's a great movie, and it has a good ending. I loved it. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed my video, and I hope that you take my movie night pick seriously. You really will enjoy this movie if you give it a chance, as long as you take into mind that it does have strong sexual content and shouldn't be watched with kids in the room. And also, when it comes to liking and sharing, I may have a big following on Xbox, but I have a very, very small YouTube channel, so every share goes a long way, and the more followers I get and the more views I get, the more energy I'll have to make more videos. So like I said, shares go a long way. Thank you.